G'day. G'day and welcome. I'd like to open this video by apologising for my hair. I have once again lost my hairbrush. I know there's one in the car, but the car is out there somewhere. Anyway, you'll be pleased to know that I have no direction or plan for this video, but perhaps we can start by lighting a candle. I don't want to use the crackly one, it's just too loud. I do not enjoy it at the moment. Okay. This is a purple fragrant candle. Wow, helpful. Very Danish. Very Danish. I'm working on a bit of a larger project in terms of videos. I don't usually film things that require a lot of editing, but I'm working on something for Sunday, or probably Saturday for most of you, but it's a prayer journaling video. So I noticed at the start of the week, or the end of last week rather, that I hadn't been as conscious in putting aside time to be with the Lord, to spend in His presence. And I knew that was an issue, but things have just been so busy. And a video popped up by, I think the channel is called How to Faith a Life. And in that video, she showed her Bible journaling, prayer journaling for a week. And I think somewhere in watching that video I had an apostrophe. If you haven't seen Hook with Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams, it's great. I had the realization that prayer journaling doesn't need to be writing fancy prayers and requests. So I've had a journal for most of my life, and since I met my husband, I stopped journaling. I'm not entirely sure why that is. It didn't feel right, and I think I very much grew up with the idea that a journal is a private, personal thing, and we very much have a relationship of openness and no secrets, so it seemed a bit contradictory to keep a private journal. But anyway, I got this journal. I've shown you it before. I got this earlier in the year, and I've been on and off just writing bits and pieces in it. But I noticed that often when I'm writing in my journal, it turns into a prayer anyway. So I thought, well, what if I don't make any radical changes? What if I don't try to write like I'm writing Psalms or a new book in the Bible? What if I just journal like I usually do? And the only difference is that I'm consciously, writing as though I'm speaking to the Lord instead of, writing down what's happening and then transitioning to writing as though I'm speaking to the Lord anyway. So that's what I've been doing. I've filmed a clip each day, I think for 4 days now. I wanted to do a full week, but I'm not sure that'll be possible just because it needs to go up or be ready Saturday night, and the editing and uploading takes quite a while on our stuff here. So yes, I'm going to edit the clips together and do some kind of voiceover, which I don't think I've done before, not to this extent anyway, so that will be an experience. I've been posting more on Dusty Boots Life, which is the sort of, I guess, behind the scenes channel. Because I've got new equipment, I'm sort of experimenting more. So, for example, I don't have a viewfinder, so I don't know if you can see me right now or not. I'm fairly confident that you can now, but it's taken some testing and so forth. So my other channel has a lot of like tester videos and casual, completely unedited videos. I don't know if I've told you this, but our daughter has learnt how to crawl in the last week or so, which is so exciting. She's been bouncing around on her hands and knees for ages trying to get the hang of it. She could unintentionally crawl backwards for a really long time, and she was getting so frustrated. But now she's worked it out, and she's very proud of herself. I didn't actually know that she could crawl until I put my coffee cup down. It was a good distance away from her. I put it down on the floor and I went to pick something up from the kitchen and come back, and when I turned around, she had incredibly quickly just zipped across the floor to grab the coffee cup. It was cold. My coffee's always cold. Not because I like it cold, just because I keep forgetting it. So that was how we found out that she could crawl. And I don't think she realised until a couple of days later. It was like she could only crawl towards things she really, really wanted to grab, like the coffee cup. And so for the rest of the time she was getting really frustrated, she was uncoordinated, but she could crawl really, really confidently towards things like the phone or the coffee cup. And a few days later she worked out how to crawl properly. So she's been exploring the living room. She has made it as far as our bedroom and the study, but she's not very interested in exploring further. I think she's just looking for potential toys or exciting things that Mum and Dad use. I've also started a journal. So in that same video that I watched where this lady was doing her prayer journaling, she showed her journals for her children. I think she has 2 boys. and she's got a journal for each of them. And I thought that was a brilliant idea because often I have a lot of friends and whatever who have, Instagram or Facebook, and it's, it's that trendy, current, cool thing to do where you post your perfectly staged and edited photos. And as a caption, you write as though you're speaking to your child. And these kids are like absolutely not Facebook age. They're babies, or they're 10 years old and they don't have Facebook. And the parents or the relatives are posting, "I love you so much, I'm so proud of you, blah, blah, blah." And it rubs me the wrong way because they're writing as though the kid is going to read it, even though they know full well the child is never going to read this. And I mean, even if you think that you have the kind of child who would want to read that later when they're grown up and when they're old enough to have Facebook, I mean, I can tell you that for myself and for almost every other child I've ever met, no child when they get Facebook or Instagram wants to go to their parents' page and scroll back through and read all of these posts that were addressed to them. No child wants to do that. And also you have to sift through, memes and unrelated things. No. And I understand that the internet is forever, but I seriously question how many people, how many children, future adults will have the patience to scroll back and read all of those things. It's fine if your child does have Facebook and you're tagging them and they're going to read it instantly, but not if it's a baby or whatever. All that to say, I thought this journaling idea was a really great idea because that is something that a child will treasure, something that they'll want to read later. I know that my mother, her parents had journals and whatever, and they've both passed away by now, but she really enjoyed reading those, life stories and things. So this is in a similar strain. It's, having a journal where instead of posting on Facebook and Instagram these long-winded things that your child is never going to read, instead of doing that, you put it in a journal, which they most likely will want to read at some stage of their lives. I know that I was very interested in that sort of thing, and I hope that Ruth is, but it's okay if she's not. It's more for my sake at the moment than hers, I think. It's just a way to keep track of things. I'll show you if I can reach it. This notebook is from Kaisercraft. It's definitely some sort of synthetic or vegan leather, which is a shame because it does mean that it's going to fall apart, but I'll be able to recover it. It's more of a shame because the cover is so pretty. So I doubt that this is any kind of genuine product. So I got this a while ago to write stories in because I was writing a few children's stories at the time, and I wrote one specific one. It's called Lucy Lou and the Smell of the Sea, and I wrote it in here because my idea was to have this as a book full of stories that Ruth could read anyway. So I've got that story in it, and then I've left space for when I have time to draw pictures underneath, so it's kind of laid out like it would be if it was a published book. let me know if you would like to hear that story. And here we go. It's just I've started doing a bit of scrapbooking. I'm not a scrapbooking person. I just the extent of my scrapbooking at the moment is stickers and tearing up pretty paper. So I'm really just tearing up paper and gluing it to pages and sticking stickers on it. So in here I've got just a journal entry, really. I've written a small letter to Ruth here about some of the thoughts that I had during that day. I often find that I want to tell her things and I want her to understand what I'm saying, but she's still so young that she's not going to, and she won't for some time. So I thought that writing in here was a really good way of capturing that as well, so that one day when she does understand, she'll know what I was thinking when she was little. She'll know how I was feeling and the things that I wanted to tell her, the things that I perhaps wanted to apologize for or explain to her, so that she would, I guess, know a bit more about my heart. So I often find myself very overwhelmed just by the fact that I am still alive, that God specifically, kept me alive after she was born, and that I was blessed with this time with her. So I view every day as a direct gift from God, because if I hadn't been spared, then I wouldn't have seen her grow. I wouldn't have been blessed with the chance to see a 9-month-old girl learning to crawl and discovering that she likes her parents and wants to be near them and that kind of thing. So I think this journal entry is me talking about, here we go, there's a part here. You've started leaning on me and resting your head on my shoulder when you're sleepy, and every day I get with you and your dad is a gift, and I'm so blessed to have shared 9 months of life with you. It's just, journaling about things like that and things that I want to say to her. And I found that I'll spend a lot of time talking to her and, telling her stories about when she was born, and talking to her about just life. So I've started writing those kind of things down as well. And then I've got a prayer about, asking the Lord to help me be a better mother. Again, it's like prayer journaling, where I've just, I've written as though I'm speaking to God. And then the next page, I've got a journal entry where I've written about a Bible verse that I reflect on quite a lot. And then I've set up this page here to write down her nicknames. And I've just stuck a tab in. There's a tab so that I can find it later. So Ruth has a lot of nicknames. I've hardly ever called her Ruth. Her main nickname is Bibbles, and I think Shane came up with that one. He was saying something like bippity boppity baby, like the bippity boppity boo from the from Cinderella, and somehow it just morphed into being Bibbles, and she's been called that ever since. And then she has variations of different nicknames. So the ones I've written down here are Squudge, Squashy, and Squashim. Squashim is a reference to Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, with Kevin Costner. and Morgan Freeman plays Asim, I think it is. So we just watched that, and Ruth did something absolutely ridiculous, and I was like, oh, squashim. And so squashim is what she's called when she's, acting up. So I'm going to continue on with this book for her. I want to stick more photos in there, but I don't have a printer. Maybe we'll get one just for that purpose, so that I can glue some photos in. And yeah. I've got one of those baby, proper baby journals, like the baby tracker kind of thing, where you've got the monthly updates, I guess, where you write in what the baby's done or what she's learnt to do, or her new skills, and what she likes and dislikes. And I think it goes all the way up to adulthood, which is very nice, but there's no area in that to journal or, write much. It's all answering direct questions, so I think this will be supplementary to that. And also a way for me to keep track of things and to journal, sort of debrief in my mind as well. So I'm very excited to keep doing that. And I've discovered I really enjoy scrapbooking. And when I say scrapbooking, I mean tearing a piece of paper out and sticking it in, and that's it. I'm just very much enjoying making things pretty, or attempting to. I've started adding some extra pages to my journaling Bible, and Bible journaling in there. Again, previously, when I Bible journaled, it was more like writing full-blown devotionals, writing like Bible study resources. And so I kind of stopped making too many notes, because I thought to myself, well, I'm not some kind of professor or anything. Sometimes I'll write what I believe something to mean, but I think I moved away from doing those really, really in-depth Bible studies because I don't have the time anymore. So this time I'm Bible journaling, which is, again, basically journaling about what I've read. It doesn't have to be a deep philosophical discussion. It can just be writing about what I thought about it or what I felt about it. And of course I still, make sure that I'm interpreting it accurately and not being blasphemous or anything like that. But it's much more laid back, a laid back style of reading the Bible, which suits my lifestyle at the moment, because I don't have the time that I used to, where I'd get out all of my commentaries and my extra resources and my full-on journals and write multiple pages of devotions and Bible studies. I should just put some of those together and publish them as a book or an ebook. You might like some of them, but I don't have that level of time at the moment. And so I'm just taking some time to slow down, taking some time to relax, to not hold myself to such a high standard of scholarliness. I guess. I had quite high standards for, if I was Bible journaling, it had to be all researched and that kind of thing. And I've just realised either this window has been mounted at this kind of angle, or the wall is leaning that way. Oh my goodness. That is so strange. So there's a difference in the window frame. At the bottom, you can see this much of the window frame, and at the top, there's the tiniest sliver. So something has definitely moved a lot. I hope the window won't fall out. We've been doing a lot of work on the house as well. I forgot to say, if you hear any strange noises in the background, the front door isn't on. So we've been replacing the doors. Our front door a while ago completely died. It was rotten. We were meant to just be coating it with paint to make it live a little bit longer. My husband put his thumb through it so we couldn't use it. For a while we had an internal door as the front door, which isn't very secure, but it doesn't matter. We don't really have much worth stealing anyway. And the back doors, they were so bad. They wouldn't open or close properly. We were running out of ways to get out of the house. And we just had 2 panels of wood up for a while. So now we've got the new back doors on and the new front door all worked out. We just need to finish off the decoration parts, the trimmings. But the front door is down at the moment because I'm doing some final coats of waterproofing. We're about due for another one now. Because the water has a habit of blowing in under the door. So I need to do right around all of the edges and make sure it's definitely sealed. Just in case we have a storm. So, yes, the house is open at the moment, but we live in a good area. And as I said, we don't have much worth stealing, unless you want a nappy bag. It's spring here, and as I look out the window I can see, I think there's a bunch of birds resting on the fence, and there are trees. We have 2 trees in our yard. One of them is a cider gum. The cider gum trees have 2 different kinds of leaves. They have the normal gum tree leaves that are sort of thin and pointy. And then they have these beautiful round ones that are more like eucalypt leaves. You see the more round looking ones in a lot of wildflower bouquets or wedding bouquets and that kind of thing. We also have I don't think it's an ironbark, but it is a very big, pretty tree. It's got these beautiful gold blooms that are coming out all over it, and it just looks so much like a nice sunset. The different shades of gold and orange and really rich yellow, mixing with a sort of light muted green. It's just so beautiful. I think the colours of the trees here are very distinctive. So there's a trail of ants as well, running up and down the lopsided window. They found a way in through the roof. corrugated iron roof, and the birds get through the sort of waves in the iron. They get through between the wood and the waves in the iron because they're so small. So we have birds living in the roof. Sadly, they attract ants, and we haven't worked out how to get them out or how to seal the roof correctly. I think the house might have been built a bit incorrectly in terms of the roof. I know how in my mind to fix it. I don't know if we have the time or the resources to re-roof our entire house right now. We probably need to replace the insulation as well, if the birds have left us any. So, thank you for joining me for this casual catch-up. I'm very excited about Sunday's video. I hope you like it. I love looking at people's Bible journaling and prayer journaling and just seeing how everyone does it differently. I find it very inspiring to see someone's Bible or their notebook just overflowing with extra pages and pretty additions, and it makes me excited to do it myself. So I'm gonna leave you for now, and I look forward to seeing you later.